Hello, everybody. This is my attempt to adapt Jordan Peterson's 12 Rules for Life into advice for younger students, middle school through high school and even into college. It got a little bit long, so I broke it into a number of segments. If you want to look at the rest, just take a look at my channel and enjoy. Rule 4, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not who someone else is today. Okay, this is an easy one and also sort of a hard one to do. You're maturing, right? You're maturing into adulthood. That used to be a process that was supposedly finished by end of high school, but really it continues somewhat through college. And how do you do that? The first step is, who's improving here? You. How do you measure your improvement? Well, if you're going to do a scientific experiment or something, you're going to have to get a good data set, and that data set is from you. I am maturing because I can compare what I did last year, what I did yesterday, to what I am doing today, to what I'm doing as I go forward. That is me maturing. That is me growing into the world and becoming a competent, functioning adult. There's also, however, a bitter truth in this. There's always going to be someone more competent at what you like to do, okay? This doesn't mean that your competence is therefore less because they're better. Maybe they should be a friend and help inspire you to become better. That's cool. But the problem is there's a couple ways you can react to this, and one of them is a very bad idea, and one of them is Rule 4, okay? If you compare yourself to yourself, that means I'm improving. You see that improvement. If you compare yourself to someone who's better than you are, there's a couple temptations here. One is to feel, as Jordan Peterson would put it, bitter, angry, resentful, all that stuff, right? I'm not better than that person. I'll never be. Okay, fair enough, but Rule 2, right? The other person has the same internal darkness. You don't see that struggle that they're going through. So just understand that you don't know what they're comparing themselves to. You don't know what they're overcoming, and they may be looking at you and going, God, she's so chill about this. I wish I could be as chill as he was. Or maybe you're good at something that they suck at and they want to be better at. Right? How do you know? You don't. Also, when you sort of get yourself into your own head about this, you can get angry at them, you can get resentful for them. That takes away your chance to learn from them. Right? You start thinking about how to take them down, not how to bring yourself up to their level, not how to improve. And it also makes it very difficult for you to do something that is fundamental to the human condition, right? We're all fallible creatures. We all have monsters in us. We all have negation and evil and bad thoughts of all sorts. We are vengeful and petty and vain, and I could go on. I mean, that'd be depressing, but I could go on. It's easy. But one of the things we do is obviously we inspire each other. We find friends who inspire each other. But another thing we do is we cooperate. Well, if you're looking at someone who's better than you at a task and thinking, oh, what a so-and-so. Well, it's going to be hard for you to ask them for help when you need it, right? And you might need it from them. It's much better to say, look, I'm improving myself at the things that I think are relevant to me, and they're improving themselves at the things they think are relevant to them. And maybe they're better than me, but maybe there's something I can learn from them. Maybe I can help them one day. Maybe they can help me. Keep that more of a positive thought. Because, okay, look, for an example for me, I had a really interesting evening a bunch of years back when my toilet blew up. As a result, I developed a certain interest in the working of the toilet because I had to basically put it into a condition where it wasn't going to flood the place long enough for me to get a plumber in, right? So I had to very quickly study the internal workings of a toilet, play around with it, and get it to a point where all the water was going somewhere safe. I did that. It took me a while. Then I had to clean up the mess. As a result, now I have helped people install toilets, repair toilets, whatever. Why? Because I know what they look like. Does that mean when I look at a plumber, I'm jealous? I mean, they make bank, true. Competent plumbers, hard to beat in terms of salary. But no, I'm glad that I can do what I can do with plumbing, but I'm not going to say, well, because of that, I'm going to be jealous of a plumber because they're way better than I am. No, because being jealous of plumbers is pointless. I can do things they can't. They can do things I can't. That cooperation has allowed us to solve the kind of problems that built civilization. Some people are good at organizing. Some people are good at managing chaos that breaks the organizationally minded people. They're able to exist in the middle of a completely chaotic system and bring it into some kind of functional working order. Maybe it's not perfect and pristine and precise, but at least it works. Whereas the perfectly organized people over there would just go absolutely nuts when they tried it. For them, that just can't work. And then you have people who are incredibly cleanly, and then people who, they spend their life going through sewage. They work in the subways or in the, or in the oil fields, and they deal with messy stuff that could kill them. And, you need both people? Yes, you need someone who can manage a hospital and keep it clean, and you need someone who can go into a filthy situation and deal with it. Those are different skill sets, right? You need both, right? And so maybe you have one person who's competent at like the manual labor and another person who's competent at the social stuff. You need both. You need the social back channeling to help form society. You need the manual labor and the backbreaking stuff to help build the functional physical structure of it. You need both. And if you compare yourself to others and get angry at them because they're better at stuff, you can't cooperate anymore. You can't work with them because you hate them. And when you do work with them, you hate them. And you try to undermine them at every second. And that cooperation doesn't work very well. And I'm sure you all know people like that. Don't be them. Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. All right, rule 5. Do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Well, that's easy, right? You're a student. You don't have kids, or probably don't. You may, in which case this rule has quite a lot to do with you. But what does this have to do with you anyway? I mean, we can skip it, right? Well, no, not exactly. Look, this is one of those rules where you are the children in this case, and you may not be like, I'm not a child, I'm grown. Well, okay, but I've heard adults say that to children who were in 9th grade, and and of course they're not 18, they're not legally of age, but their parents wanted to treat them that way, and of course the principal and teachers were like, no, you can't do that. And I've seen college students who, frankly, behave like children too, and it's like, no, you can't do that. So what does this mean, right? If you don't have kids, this rule still matters to you because you may be the kid in this case. You may be the one who needs this. So let's talk about what the structure of this is. What he basically is saying here is, do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them, on the theory that you, as the parent, love your children. You love them more than anything else in the world. And so if they're doing something that makes you hate them, oh my God, what do you think everyone else thinks? And this is also true that as you grow into maturity, part of what makes you a mature adult is the ability to build connections and relationships with other mature adults. And if they hate your guts, good luck, right? If you want to be good in something, sometimes you need a mentor. Sometimes you need someone who's willing to show you this stuff, or at least give you some feedback on why you screwed that up and maybe what you could do better. Maybe talk to someone and say, hey, I know someone. You want to hire them? Or, say, yeah, no, they're perfectly mature, give you a reference. I'll tell you one thing, okay? I have known someone, and this was a very, very smart senior in high school, okay? Applying for college. This is a kid who is in AP Sciences, and not a single teacher would write a recommendation for that kid. None. What do you think that kid's prospects were for college? If everyone thinks you're a jerk, good luck, right? So as you get older, part of what you've got to do is make alliances with people who can mentor you, who might be able to steer you into a job opportunity, who might be able to suggest things to you that you haven't seen because you don't have the experience to know them. And if you alienate those adults, you are on your own in the worst way possible. Now, I've taught kids who functionally didn't have parents. I remember some where the mother couldn't care if they lived or died, the father couldn't, they had an aunt, right? Grandparents in some cases. In other cases, you know, I was it. They had so much difficulty with their family, I was it. So part of the skill really for you is identify the adults in your life who are important to you, who really care. Those are the adults that you need to apply this rule to. Do not do that which makes them dislike you, because they will not provide you with that which they could, because they don't want to be around you because you're unlikable. Make sense? I have known kids who were so unpopular that an entire group of people set up an ambush for them to beat them down. Okay? Don't be that person. And if you find that you are, figure out what you're doing wrong and stop. Okay? I mean, that's your job. Figure out what you're doing wrong. If you have to, ask, and then stop doing it. Because that's the only way, by being able to ally with adults, being able to ally with people who can support you. That's one of the biggest things you have to do to transition to full adulthood. No human can live on their own. John Donne said, no man is an island, right? That's what that means. So do not let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. But for you, functionally, don't be that person who is doing things that make the adults who can help you, the adults who are important for you, the adults who really care about you. Don't be the person who's doing things that makes them dislike you. Because if those adults really care about you, you know, you start amending your ways, you start figuring out what to do with yourself, they'll start helping you. You'll have doors open that you never thought possible because they realize that you now get it. Okay? And understand that a lot of adults who you may not realize care do. You know, a lot of the teachers who may be harshest on you do it because they care. They see the potential. If you need to, ask them, what am I doing wrong? What can I do to bring out my potential, and figure it out? Because once you flip them, once you have shown them that you can do what they see in you, they will become your strongest advocates. Do not be that person that makes the adults who would help them dislike them.